Hi, hope you're having a great day. You're watching JG Entertainment, and for this video, I'm gonna give you my Andor Season 1 episode rankings from worst to best. But in order to do this, I'm going to be talking spoilers, so spoiler warning, if you have not seen the full Season 1 of Andor, please make sure to click out of this video, because I will be giving you spoilers for the whole season. So yeah, with that in mind, let's get started with my ranking from worst to best. So at number 12, because there's 12 episodes, so at 12th place, and my worst episode therefore being, is going to be episode 2, which is titled "That Would Be Me." And this episode was pretty good. I mean, it wasn't, and I don't think any episode of the show is bad. I just think that this one was by far the least interesting one. It was also at the first three episodes. I think the first three episodes were, it was a good arc, but I think they were all the weakest part of the show. You know, they were the weakest part of the link. And the reason why I didn't like this episode as much is because if half of it was flashbacks, and I didn't think the flashbacks worked that well in this show, which only thankfully took place in the first three episodes. I feel like the build up was incredible. I thought in episode 3 they kind of cool stuff with them, but episode 2 I didn't think did anything really exciting with them. Beyond that, I did think that the present timeline story was kind of cool. You know, it's really just trying to build up tension and setting up all the pieces for the third episode. And that's basically all it is. It's just a bunch of setup for the third episode, which I think is a cool episode. I thought it was enjoyable and everything. I just didn't think it was the best episode. That's basically my thoughts on it. So yeah, that's why it's number 12. Just a good episode, but nothing super great, nothing super exciting. It's just setting up with the pieces for the next episode, which would be awesome. So yeah. Alright, moving on to my number 11 spot, and that's going to be episode 4, titled Aldhani. And this episode is the episode which is going to kind of deal with the aftermath of episode 3, which is kind of the finale of the arc, of the first arc of the show, and kind of also starting this new arc of like the Aldhani heist and everything. So yeah, that's why we like the title Aldhani. I think it fits very well. And you know, first of all, it starts with Andor and Luthen talking, and then he gets him to this deal, and okay, he sets him up to go to Aldhani. Then this is where we get the introduction to Mon Mothma's storyline, which I thought was pretty cool. Whenever we see Luthen in his collector's shop in Mon Mothma, those scenes was pretty cool. And overall, I think it was a pretty cool setup just to start setting up the team, who's the team members, what exactly is the mission, all that type of stuff. It did the setup. It did the setup for the first episode of the character arc. However, it just, once again, wasn't the most exciting episode at all. It's just a bunch of setup. And you know, you do get a lot of character development, and I think it was interesting to see sort of stuff. But I just didn't think it was the best episode, once again. It's just a fun, enjoyable episode. I love the Luthen scene with Mon Mothma. I thought it was a great scene. But beyond that, nothing super, like, that was just wow to me. So yeah, that's why it's number 11. Alright, moving on to my number 10 spot, and that's going to be episode 1, titled Casa, which obviously references Cassian Andor's name, but when back in Canary, whenever they would call him Casa, or his sister would call him Casa. And this episode was also pretty good. I actually enjoyed this episode a lot. I think by far the best thing about this episode was the opening scene, because that opening scene was just amazing. You know, whenever he murders the two officials, wow, that was awesome. And the cinematography in the episode, specifically in that opening scene, was incredible. So that's part of the reason why this is above the first two episodes, just because it had that wow factor that the other episodes didn't. This episode had that wow factor. And beyond that, I think it just sets up the world a lot very well. Like, it sets up Ferrix amazingly. You get to know Biggs, you get to know Brasso, you get to know Marvel, all those characters. You get to set them up in this episode. You get to know the little droid, which is so cute and everything, and you start setting up the tension. You start to see how everything's building up. So I thought that episode was pretty cool. I just really enjoyed it. So yeah, episode 1, enjoyable episode, and that's the number 10 spot. Alright, moving to my 9th spot, and that is going to be episode 5, titled The Axe Forgets. Which, by the way, that title is amazing. You know, it's like the axe forgets, but the tree never does, or something like that. I just think it's really cool because it's a metaphor to how the axe cuts a bunch of trees, so of course it's going to forget it, but the tree will never forget that the one axe that cut it down. And I think it's so interesting because it references like the Empire and every single one of the rebels in this Aldhani team that got affected by the Empire, except for Skeen, which we'll talk about it later. But yeah, I love that title. I think this fit perfect. And this is the episode where we just kind of get the backstory of each character in that team, or almost each character in the team. We get to know Belle more, we get to know Cintia more, we get to know Skeen more, we get to know Nemik more, which I think that was the coolest part. You just get to know Nemik, and Nemik's such a likable character, which is super cool to just see. And we start to see the build-up, you start to see, oh, they're training for this mission, And I also really love that scene whenever the TIE fighter goes over them whenever they're training. It was such an amazing scene, and I was like, dang, TIE fighters are actually extremely scary. I see why they scare people. You know, I've never seen that before, but now seeing this, I was like, yeah, they would be scary. Like, they're really terrifying. So that was pretty cool. And then the ending, whenever Skeen doesn't trust him, and he like finds out like he has like the kyber crystal, and then Andor's like, I'm getting paid, I'm not a rebel, don't use me as an excuse to get out and everything, and it kind of just, everybody's like, okay, fine, and they're ready to go for the mission, which then ends up going to episode 6, and episode 6 was amazing, we'll talk about it later, but yeah, that's episode 5, so yeah, I really like this episode. Episode 5 was a really enjoyable episode and everything, just not on the top tier levels for this show, which this show has really good episodes, like top tier episodes, that's why it's my number 9 spot. Alright, moving on to my 8th spot, and that's going to be episode 8, 8th spot, episode 8, that's pretty funny, titled Narkina 5. And this is where we start getting to the really good episodes for me. I think this is where we start to get like, these are the good episodes, you know what I mean? That's the episode where Andor enters Narkina 5, which is the jail in this universe, and I really love the jail in this universe. It's just, I think this episode did an incredible setup, you know, from the scene where they go in and they start torturing Andor, and he starts like, you know, I don't know what they do, but it's something with the shoes and something like that. I mean, that's incredible. Like that scene was really incredible, really terrifying. So the scene where they go in and they have to keep building, and you gotta really get that set up. And seeing Andy Serkis in this show was also a super bonus. Like, I did not know that he was gonna be in the show, and whenever I saw him in the show, in this episode, I was like, yo, Andy Serkis is here, and it was super, super awesome. So that was some awesome stuff. Then beyond that, moving on after that, you know, you get to see Mothma in her politics world. You get to see a lot more of her. Whenever she's like trying to get an alliance, because right now she's about to get caught with all the money, and she's trying to get this alliance with somebody that she used to know back then. And you know, that's that line whenever she says, "Perhaps my politics are too strong for your taste." Awesome stuff. You know, I think Mama was in that whole scene whenever she's talking to who she's trying to recruit was incredible. I really love that scene a lot. It was chef's kiss. And yeah, like I said, just the prison setup in this episode was incredible, and it's set up for an amazing arc, the best arc of the show, personally speaking. It was an incredible arc. So yeah, perfect stuff. I absolutely love this episode. And like I said, this is where we're starting to top tier. Alright, moving on to my next place, and that's going to be number 7, and this is also going to be episode 7. Once again, it's kind of funny that number 7 is going to be episode 7. And this episode is titled Announcement. The announcement, which is this episode, is kind of like an odd episode because it's not at the start of a new arc, it's not at the end of the new arc, it's not in the middle of the new arc, it's just between two different arcs. It's like a transition episode, which I thought was interesting, and because we hadn't gotten that in the show. And I thought it worked really, really well. I think it transitioned a lot of stuff. You know, first of all, my favorite thing with this episode was by far Dedra, the ISB officer, the girl, standing up for herself, because it was incredible. I was like, yo, this is awesome, this is super, super awesome. And you know, you're rooting for her. Of course, as the show goes on, you're like, man, screw you. But in that moment, you're rooting for her. I'm like, yeah, go with Dedra. You know, I support her. And then, you know, beyond that, you get to see Andor going back to Ferrix and trying to get Biggs, Merva, and everybody to go along with them. And nobody wants to go. I love Merva's reasoning. Merva's like, I've been like just sitting around seeing everybody take everything, and I'm tired. I'm gonna fight, and I love that scene. I'm like, chef's kiss once again. It was an incredible scene. Whenever Andor's just talking to his mom, it's really incredible stuff, and she doesn't want to leave. And then you got the flashbacks to whenever Andor's father, with Clem, was hanged up and everything, and it's like, that's just really strong stuff. I think that was amazing stuff. The flashbacks in this episode worked a lot. Once again, like I said, the scene between Andor and his mother really got me emotional. It was really strong stuff. And then, you know, at the end, whenever he gets arrested, which really sucked, I was like, no, he got arrested. And I love that, because it's like it's a definitely very much touch on police brutality with K2SO, or I mean, I guess it's not K2SO, but like a K2SU unit kind of going to arrest him and all that type of stuff. I mean, I thought it worked really well. And then at the end, whenever he's like trying to play for himself and then just like put more years on him and everything, I mean, that's just some really strong stuff. So yeah, I thought that was really incredible, really awesome stuff, and just chef's kiss. Another great, amazing episode. Like I said, this is where we start getting to top tier episodes. Alright, well, on to number 6, and that's going to be episode 11. And this episode is titled Daughter of Ferrix. And this episode is another amazing episode. I really love that. You know, you're dealing with the aftermath of escaping Narkina 5, the jail. So Andor and the other dude that's also in Rogue One. I don't know why I'm forgetting his name right now. I'm so sorry. But they're escaping right now. And actually, that kind of seemed like my least favorite part of this episode, to be honest. I thought it was really realistic. You know, they were been hanging out on that mountain for the whole time. And I thought it was pretty cool. But then whenever they got involved with those aliens and they got trapped in those like webby traps, that kind of took me out of a little bit of the show, because it felt very very Star Warsy, but it felt very like cartoon Star Warsy. Whereas this show has been so serious, that kind of took me out a little bit. But I thought the scene worked still. They were talking about how the Empire has been nothing but messed up and everything. And overall, it still worked. It's just that the aliens kind of took me out of it for a little bit. But beyond that, that episode had some really strong scenes. My favorite by far was Saw Gerrera versus Luthen. Whenever Luthen's trying to ask him, should we just let this other rebel person die and his whole squad with him for the greater good, or what should we do? And I thought that whole scene was awesome. Saw Gerrera's like, I don't know, you're not a Imperial spy and so on. And Luthen handled himself so well whenever he took like that poor guy, and told him he's my spy, and then he like took the gun and everything. I mean, that whole scene was incredible. That two actors did an amazing job, and you really felt like they couldn't trust each other because you never know what's the other one's plans, and you really felt like they would just kill each other if they needed to. So there was always that tension, and there was just some really strong stuff. So yeah, I absolutely loved it, and I love seeing how they're the leaders of this rebellion. It's just pretty cool stuff. Beyond that, you get to see more of his death, which I think was super interesting because I didn't expect that at all. I didn't think she was dead. But then at the end of the episode, I thought it paid off incredibly well whenever Andor finds out that his mother's dead. And it was a really strong scene. And Diego Luna really delivered in that acting. I mean, I thought it was amazing. And the cinematography in that scene also was incredible. Absolutely love how the show looked. And this episode was one of those episodes where I thought the show looked incredible. And then you have Luthen, which was super cool whenever he has his ship and he like throws all these like things at the Imperial ship and kind of breaks the satellite, and then he has lasers to kind of destroy the TIE fighters. All that stuff was super awesome. I wish the action scene was kind of longer, to be honest. I think it would have been a pretty cool longer action scene. But for the things that we got, it was pretty awesome and pretty incredible. And you get to see why Luthen's just so prepared and so cool. He's like the Batman of Star Wars, and I just love it. I think it's pretty awesome. Alright, moving on to my number 5, and it's going to be episode 3, titled Reckoning. And this episode is the last episode of the first arc of this show, and I thought it worked really well. I thought it worked very well for the finale of this arc. You really get to bring things full circle. It starts with Andor having to meet Luthen, and they do end up meeting indeed. And that whole scene was awesome because first of all, you see how Andor and Luthen kind of defend themselves while dealing with business. I thought it was pretty awesome. But then you start to get more serious. Luthen starts talking about how, wouldn't you want to fight these bastards for real? And he starts talking about how he knows that Andor's father was hanged up and everything and so on. And Andor gets defensive. He takes the gun and he's like, who are you? How do you know this? What is this? And so on and so on. And I thought that was pretty cool stuff. And then they start to shoot out with the Imperial people hunting him down. And he's like, you always put your exit and blows away the wall, which also was super incredible stuff. But then you start to shoot out, like I said, and you have like things in the ceiling just falling down and everything, and the tension's just it's awesome. It's an incredible action scene, a very creative shootout scene, to be honest. I never expected those things to fall down and everything. It was just chef's kiss, absolutely amazing. And then after that, you have the rest whenever they're trying to escape, and it really feels very espionage and everything. And then they kind of capture Serial, and then they make the decoy truck and everything, and then they escape through that decoy truck, and it's just super awesome. And whenever the decoy truck blows up and the music just starts hitting, and then Serial just looking at the truck like, wow, I just messed up. I'm so screwed. And it's like the shot is just amazing. It's incredible cinematography, and it's just the music. The composer for the show, another chef's kiss. It's just incredible. And whenever they're escaping, and you have the flashbacks culminating with the present time, whenever they're both kind of leaving in the ship. Awesome stuff. I thought it was super, super strong stuff. So in total, I thought this episode was amazing. It was a great finale to the arc that was the first 3 episodes, and I just thought it completely worked. Alright, moving on to my 4th spot, and that is going to be episode 9, titled Nobody's Listening. This episode, just by the title, it's going to be good. And it was an amazing episode. But let's start off with outside of jail things. So you have Vix getting tortured. I thought that the whole scene was just terrifying. I thought it was I completely bought that she was getting tortured just by the actor of Big's acting. I thought she did an amazing job acting that scene. It was, I felt so dehumanizing. And then going into jail things, the jail scenes were so good. That tension whenever you feel where it's like, what happened in level 2? What happened in level 2? That stuff was truly awesome. And Kino is just really trying to keep it all together. And he's like, they might be true. It might just be rumors, stay on program, and so on. And it's just like, it's super awesome stuff. I love Kino's. And the Serkis did a great job face acting that whole scene. It was amazing. It was super awesome. I love that. And then, whenever you finally have, they burnt them all, they killed them all, and nobody believes it. Or some people believe it, some people don't, and so on. And you have this whole kind of fight. I love it. And then whenever Olaf dies at the end, and then the medic is like, they made a mistake. They put somebody at level 4 back to level 2, and then they killed everybody at level 2, both shifts. And then Kino finds out, and then at the end, whenever they're walking, and it's like never more than 12. Whenever Andor's like, how many guards? And he's like, never more than 12. There's just, it's so awesome. If I could watch that episode again for the first time, I'd watch it again for the first time because it's just super awesome stuff. I mean, it was just an amazing episode. I would give it like a 9.5 out of 10, maybe a 10 out of 10. It was just an incredible episode. I absolutely loved it. The tension was there. I love everything in this episode. It was amazing. And Andy Serkis in this episode was just perfect. Alright, moving on to my third spot, and that's going to be episode 6, titled The Eye. And The Eye is another amazing episode. This is the culmination of the second arc from the show, episode 4 through 6, and this episode did not disappoint. The Eye was incredible. First of all, let's just go from a visual standpoint. Chef's kiss. I mean, the actual event of the eye, I did not expect it to look that good. I expected like a lunar eclipse or something, but that looked amazing. It was visually incredible. I could not believe what it did. It was incredible. I mean, the whole scene. Every time that they focused on it. Every time you see it as a background. Every time, whenever they flew into it, I mean, every time that it was just on screen, it was just beautiful. It was amazing stuff. Now, moving on beyond the visuals, I mean, can we just talk about the tension in this episode? You know they have a plan. You know they're prepared, but still, and this is one of the times when you don't know what the plan is. You don't know what the plan is. You just kind of assume that it's going according to plan because of what they're saying. But wow, does it have like things that you're not ready for? Like the tension is just incredible in this episode. It was truly incredible. Some things go wrong, some things go right, and it's just like, oh my god, this is incredible. It's super awesome stuff. And I love the tension knowing that not everybody's gonna make it out alive except for Andor, and you never know who's gonna die. So it's always like, oh, anybody can die at any moment, and it's just super interesting. And I love that. I love how that whenever they get the money, they're super happy and they're loading it and they're making all these people work. And in general, I thought the episode just worked incredible. The acting from every actor in this episode was amazing, especially for Andor, like Diego Luna. Amazing job acting in this episode. I thought it was really awesome stuff. And then once they finally escape, by the way, whenever Nemec gets hit with the thing, it just hit so hard. I was like, no, Nemec. It was super awesome stuff. But then once they escape through the eye, which by the way looks amazing, and then they make it out and they take Nemec to like a place where they see if they could make the surgery. And then, what's his name? Skeen is like telling Andor, we could both leave it half and half. Come on, let's do this. And then Andor murders him. Wow, what a scene. I mean, what an incredible scene. It was super awesome stuff. And then you see Nemec is laying down dead. And then they give Andor his manifesto. All that type of stuff was incredible stuff. And another side note, I love how they included like a tribe in that planet. Because of course they would have a tribe in that planet if they can have the eye be a thing. So that was pretty cool to have that. It just kind of gave it a nicer touch to just kind of feel like the culture of Star Wars and different cultures and different planets and everything. And they made it feel a lot more real, and the world building was just amazing. So yeah, this episode was just incredible, and the whole time I was just so tensed up. Everything in this episode was just, it was just so gut-wrenching, and I loved it. Alright, moving to my second spot, and the second spot is going to be the finale of the show, episode 12, titled Rick's Road. In this episode, it was incredible. I just watched it yesterday because it was the day that it premiered, and it was super awesome stuff. Like, incredible stuff. Marvel's speech in the middle of the Ferrix and of her funeral. Awesome stuff. It was an incredible monologue. Whenever the kid throws the bomb, and then it causes a chain reaction, and a bunch of other bombs start blowing up. Mwah. I mean, it was just incredible. I was like, wow, this is awesome stuff. And the reason why it was so awesome is because it was truly shocking. You thought it was just one bomb, but then everything's just going to crap. Everybody's like, oh my god, and it was super awesome stuff. Then Andor, you had attention with Andor, and it's just, you feel all the stories colliding. You have the Dramatic, you have Serial, you have Vel, you have Cintia, you have Luthen, you have Vix, you have Brasso, you have Marva, you have everybody. All the stories are just kind of colliding in this episode, which of course is the finale. And I think it all got interwoven really well, to be honest. I think it just really hit. The whole riot in Ferrix was some incredible stuff. I just absolutely love the way they captured it. Like, it just felt very real. Like, you knew this was like a true riot, because you just felt like the hits, the deaths of every single one of those people that was rioting, the people, the kind of like brutal beating of like the Imperials, especially Dedra Meadow where she was on the floor and they were just kind of kicking her and everything. I was like, wow, this is awesome stuff. It's like, once again, Chef's Kiss, just some incredible stuff. And then Andor getting Vix out, and you really get to see how Vix is so messed up, and it's just, it hits so hard. I was like, dang, poor Vix. But in general, the whole episode was just an incredible thing, and it just really feels like you're bringing the rebellion together. Like the rebellion is truly starting now, and it's just incredible stuff. I love the way it ended. That it was some awesome stuff. The way he goes to Luthen and he kind of gives him the choice: do you want to kill me or do you want to take me in? Like he's willing to die because he just feels like he's either gonna die or he's gonna go against the Empire full on. And I love that. You feel like this guy is really just like a guy that just is willing to go all out. And of course he does. In Rogue One, he does go all out. So yeah, that's pretty awesome stuff. And the post-credit scene, once again, another incredible stuff with the parts that they were putting in jail being parts of the Death Star. Just really to shove it in that Andor was building this very thing that killed him. For the awesome stuff. So yeah, in general, just an incredible finale. 10 out of 10 to be honest. I absolutely loved it. Except for there's one episode that is better. Which brings me to my number one spot, and that is going to be episode 10, titled One Way Out. And this episode, absolutely perfect. In fact, beyond perfect. It was just super incredible. The prison break, the final episode in the third arc of the show, and it's just worked in all the ways possible. The actual prison break itself was incredible. You're always at the edge of your seat. You were seeing how is this prison break going to go, and then not as a point. There was stats of prisoners. There was it just felt very real the whole time. But it finally made it. They did indeed break out, and it was just so satisfying to see that. Incredibly satisfying. I absolutely loved it. I thought the plan was brilliant, to be honest. And I love the scene at the start whenever like it has to be tomorrow because it's going to be involving the new inmate, and I love that. I absolutely love that. Another chef's kiss. You know what I mean? And then I love whenever the whole person is kind of coming together to kind of finally escape, and it's just some incredible stuff. Whenever Kino has to give his speech and he's like one way out, and so on. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, Kino's speech was really good, and then Serkis' face acting is amazing in that episode. I mean, it's amazing. He's like, I'd rather die knowing that I tried to go against them and so on. It's just chest kiss. And then at the end, whenever Kino's like, I can't swim, and Andor gets pushed out, it was so devastating, bro. I remember seeing that. I remember that exact same moment whenever that scene happened, and me seeing it, and I was straight up devastated, bro. It was incredible. It was something amazing writing. Kudos to the writer of the show for at least that episode. Especially that episode. I mean, whoever wrote that episode is a genius. Like that whole ending, that whole scene was incredible. I absolutely love that. And then you move on to Luthen's monologue. Whenever the Imperial spy is going to meet Luthen, and then you see, boom, Luthen. By the way, that whole scene was pretty cool. Whenever he's in the elevator, that whole scene was awesome. And then once he finally gets out, and you see Luthen, and Luthen just looks so sick. I'm telling you, Luthen is like the Batman of the Star Wars because he just looks sick and he's super cool. And then Luthen gives his monologue where he's talking about what he sacrificed. And he's like, what have I sacrificed? I sacrificed everything. I sacrificed the chance of happiness. I sacrificed the chance of life, a wife, or a kid, a place to live, so on, so on. Like, he sacrificed everything just for this. And he's talking about, there's going to be I'm building something that I know, like a sunshine that I know I'm never gonna see rise up and so on. So something like that. It's something along those lines. It's just some incredible stuff. Like I absolutely love the monologue. It was some of the best writing I've ever seen. Probably one of the best monologues, if not the best monologue I've ever heard in a show or movie. It was just incredible stuff. It was super awesome, and it really gives you like a different perspective of the rebellion, about how there's always these people behind that have to do the dirty stuff, and how they had to they're gonna die. They know they're gonna die. They know they're not gonna live to see it fully come out because they're in the front of it and the one behind it all. But they're the ones carrying this. They're the one that truly brought this to existence, truly brought it to fruition. And I thought that's just a very realistic take on it. Because Star Wars so far, the rebellion has been kind of a fantasy. So for this to be like the super realistic take of rebellion, I thought it worked amazing. So yeah, this episode for me, it was just a straight up 11 out of 10, 20 out of 10. I mean, it was just an amazing episode. I wish I could see it again for the first time because it was truly magical. And seeing it for the first time, I mean, it was amazing. It was always at the edge of the seat. It was just always just gripping you. The plan, the prison break, one way out. The one way out. He can't swim. Luthen's monologue. What have I sacrificed? Everything was just perfect. And the words of great Homelander, perfect. Not to the last minute detail, it was perfect. So yeah, there goes my ranking for Andor episodes. Tell me what you think about it down in the comments. Would you change anything? Which one's your favorite one? Which is your least favorite one? Top 3 at least. I want to hear your own thoughts down in the comments. I'm very curious. As well as your favorite moments of the show, I'm also very curious. And subscribe for a lot more content for Andor. Trust me, I have a lot more content, a lot more videos coming out. So please subscribe for a lot more content for Andor if you're interested. And please make sure to leave a like. It would be very helpful to this video. So please don't forget to leave a like. And yeah, that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And this is J Entertainment. Out.